our topic tonight in creating money is our intention was to keep our energy very high. And what I've learned is when you keep your energy state very high, and I mean feeling like 10 times more alive than you do normally, and that's the state we aspire to hold all the time. And so I found that when I go to things that really amplify my energy and make me feel really good about life, those are the things that I want to do. And Matrix Energetics is really a great tool because they play, it's very playful, and they're very creative about healing things that are going on in the body. But I can also use it in a very creative and playful way in really shifting my beliefs around money. And those are the things that I want to bring to the call, and I really have something valuable to share towards the end of this call, so I want you to make sure that you stay on for the whole call. And I have an experience that I helped somebody else during a break at this conference and helped him to have a breakthrough in money in only 5 minutes. And we both had a breakthrough because it was perfect. He was actually mirroring back to me one of my limiting beliefs. And another great thing that I love about the way Mark and I share in our calls is we are going to be so raw and authentic and real that we're going to share things that we don't want anyone to know. And those things are the things people really want to know because everyone has them. We think when we're sharing something that we don't want to share with somebody else that people won't like us, or they're going to think, wow, they really look at their challenges. You know, I think that you might run screaming from the call. But actually what happens is when you hear those things, you're like, wow, they have those issues, and they're so open in sharing them. And that really excites me because look at how they can appreciate it, acknowledge it, and embrace it, and then transform it. And that gives you access to huge power. It gives me access to power to share it, and it gives you access to power to hear my challenges. So that's why Mark and I will get very raw and authentic about where we are financially and all our limiting beliefs. So let me see. I was sharing some from Matrix Energetics, and one thing I want to share about Matrix and what I picked up is that the secret to attracting money is to keep looking at where you could be in gratitude for all the experiences you've had. I wrote down several expertises that I have from some of the challenges that I've had, and these actually give me some very high energetic tools that I can use. I have an expertise in waitressing. I was a waitress for many years, so I can use that expertise. One thing I can do is I can take down orders and put them up like I'm putting up an order for the chef for him to create this beautiful meal, and I can do that even with money. I could say, this month I want to create $5,000 extra income, and I can put that up and put it up for the chef to create it and just have it manifest just like I would a meal that I'm serving somebody. I can also use some of my addiction 12-step recovery tools. I can use my mother recovery tools. I can also use the religion, the strict religious upbringing. I can use the tools from recovering from that. I have great tools with massage, yoga, Reiki, also the tools from my Hep C recovery. I actually completely recovered from Hep C, and I transformed my health. And I can use that as a powerful tool, even with money. And sharing all my successes with overcoming those challenges are actually very powerful, useful tools in attracting money. So that's something I got from Matrix. Do you want to share something you got out of Matrix?
Probably the most important. The workshop that we went to was actually titled Magic, but for the first day, almost the entire day, it was basically talking about all our beliefs, our conscious and subconscious in particular beliefs, and how they get in the way of anything and everything. And that was something that just completely resonated with Lynetta and me, that's like the two components to have anything in life, love, money, health, anything, is to clear out those limiting beliefs that are mostly in the subconscious as well as the conscious ones, and then to have the energy of creating something, which is also Lynetta's specialty, and we're going to do some exercises on that later. So that's what I got from Matrix.
Great. Also, we are taking off Thursday morning, early in the morning, for Dream Builder with Mary Morrissey, which is an amazing program that Mark has been through to get his coaching certification. And she's putting on this event in LA, and we will be there from Thursday till Sunday night.
Yeah.
And so we're really excited about that. I don't know much about it, but Mark can tell you a little more about that and why we're going there. Do you want to share?
Sure. So Mary Morrissey, and she just turned 65, and she's been doing this kind of work for about 30, 40 years now. And she actually has 4 adult kids who are in their 20s or 30s, and they're all involved with her organization, which really speaks volumes about how much it really works for people. And her dream building program, which is actually a 12-week program that we're certified to help people through, if that's something that you decide works for you, is a visioning program where you create the vision of that life you'd really like to have in all the major areas of your life: money, love, wealth, health, everything. And then it clears some of the limiting beliefs that get in the way. And we've discovered there's a lot more limiting beliefs that aren't examined in that program, so we add a lot of that to when we take somebody through the program. And a few times a year, she does something called Dream Builder Live, where you go for a 3-day weekend, and you're with like 500 to 1,000 people in a ballroom, and the energy there is phenomenal. It's just a juicy way to really get that energy flowing and really get that vision just in your bones, in your veins, so to speak. So that's why we're going.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I would like to open up to Rachel. Rachel, you have some successes that you have created for yourself within this week, and we really want to hear that success and celebrate it. And I'd also like to know how you'd like to be acknowledged once you're done sharing.
Okay, sure.
Okay, you're on.
Oh, wow. Well, just to give you a little premise, about a week and a half ago, my state of mind and where I was at was that I was homeless. I had just left a relationship. I had literally only a few dollars on me from a couple jobs that I did. I had no car. I had no job, and was sleeping on the floor of my sister's house. So that's just to give you a little premise. And then after coaching from both Lynetta and Mark, I just, about this whole high vibration thing, that completely works. I mean, it was just like I had a few epiphanies from coaching, and it was really all about, you know, even though I was thinking it was so about job and money, it was really about this missing connection I was having with myself, and basically discovered that I really wanted to be backed up by myself in a really big way financially, too, and in other ways. But that was really the missing piece of it. And as soon as, literally, it was just a shift in awareness. I flew back to Florida, and all of a sudden, I decided that I'm going to live a high vibration life, which means that I don't care what my circumstances are. And what it did is it really got me present, and all of a sudden, I started really appreciating what I had around me, and the success that came out of it was just after being on these calls and really tuning into having awarenesses from coaching, and then tuning into the call and really committing to being in a high vibration status, that I earned $5,000 and totally discovered that I'm not broke at all, that actually I have retirement accounts that I wasn't even keeping track of, that I didn't even know about, that I earn, and I have been earning money residually that I didn't even know about in a retirement account, and I have $32,000 that I had no idea existed before this week.
So from nothing to $32,000 in a week?
Correct. No, $32,000 plus $5,000, so that's $37,000.
$37,000. That's a pretty good week, Rachel.
Woo-hoo! Oh, Rachel, we just want to give you a big woo-hoo. All of us.
Yeah.
We're just lots, and we're having a party right now. What's your favorite song? What do you want to party to?
How about, well, I've been singing that song, you know, sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah.
Awesome. And how would you like to be acknowledged? What would be a great acknowledgement for you?
I would first, I would like an acknowledgement of how incredibly powerful I am in financially providing and totally just like creating money out of thin air.
Okay. So, Rachel, I want to really acknowledge that you have this really strong commitment to taking care of yourself. And, you know, I know you've shared before with us that you really want to be independent and really be able to support yourself as well as people that you really love and care about, and that you've really worked at it. And also the struggles that you've had as far as finding what's aligned with you, because you've done things in the past that weren't so aligned and you were kind of struggling with it. And I really get that you have this really strong commitment to really bring your gifts out into the world, that you want to live who you truly are. You don't want to be repressed anymore, looking at how other people look at you and whether they think you're doing the right thing. But it's really, really important for you to be living your essence. And you're really bringing that out. We saw that the last time that you visited out in California. And I really acknowledge that you're living that dream and that you're really bringing it to the fore now also with money and discovering money that all of a sudden, there it is.
Yes. How does that feel, Rachel?
Oh.
You taking it in?
Thank
and everybody
you.
who's listening, take it in as your own, as you think about your own successes. I want you to take it in as well. And Rachel, are you complete?
Yes, I am complete. Thank you.
You're welcome. And we'd like to invite somebody else to share their, and let me just point out that when you share, you are participating. And when you're participating, it creates a breakthrough for you in this area of money, and you have the support of everyone here on the call. We have 8 people right now that are totally supporting you. So that's a lot of energy to be in support of celebrating your successes. So jump in at the chance to share your successes over the week.
So somebody else who had a financial success of some sort during the past week who would like to share?
I don't care if it was $10 or $10 million.
Maybe you got unexpected money, a new job, new possibilities. Who would like to share? Anything in the works?
I have something.
Okay.
Please. Who is this?
Randy?
Okay. Go ahead, jump in.
Okay, so my boss came up to me and she gave me a gift card to Target, and said that I just want to acknowledge that you've really gone above and beyond, and I just wanted to give you this gift card, and it was really unexpected.
Wow.
Nice.
Perfect.
Awesome. And this is Brandy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And how would you like to be, what would you like to really be acknowledged for? Is it that really would sound powerful to you? I want to give it to you in the way you want to hear it.
I think that I, within my own self, recognize my hard work, and when I acknowledged and recognized my own self, just by default, energetically, that permeated out through my supervisors acknowledging it. Like I acknowledged me first, and then it just got validated.
Nice. I really would like to acknowledge you for really recognizing and acknowledging your own accomplishments and how much you put into your work, and that you, having done that, actually had your boss recognize it, and that you had really a great awareness around both of those, like acknowledging how well you were doing your work, and also that attracted your boss's acknowledgement. So thank you for being very aware.
And I'm kind of assuming, Brandy, that in the past you were kind of always looking to others for acknowledgement for yourself, and you kind of took on acknowledging yourself first and not waiting for the outside world to acknowledge you, yes?
I think it was me wanting to please and show that I'm doing a good job, and when I dropped the story of needing to please or needing to show them, and just looking within and knowing that I'm doing well, that when the story dropped, then by default, just things in the external world validated what I already felt within my own self.
Yeah, I totally get that. And it's funny because most of us operate the other way around. Like, we're looking for the outside world to validate us, and most of the time it doesn't happen, and we keep looking and looking and waiting and waiting and waiting. And you just took the bull by the horns and said, I'm doing a darn good job. And then lo and behold, the boss looks at you and says, wow, you're doing a great job. How about that?
And one thing that really helped me is I actually questioned, is it true that I need my boss to acknowledge me? And I really did a lot of work around not sugarcoating it, but finding out my truth, if that's what I really needed. And when I realized that I didn't need that, I thought I did, but I didn't need that to happen, then I felt a lot of freedom. And then just by default, things changed, but not with the intention of trying to change things, just going within and finding out what was true for myself.
Yeah, and that's a great distinction. One of the traps in this world, being a human being, is that the things that we want, that we think have to come from outside of us, will persistently not come until we acknowledge that we don't need it. And once you don't need it, you can basically have it. So that's great. Good job, Brandy.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else like to share here? Any gifts anybody received?
I think this is
Okay.
a really good lead-in for you to start on clearing, and we're going to open up an opportunity for you to get some, for you to hear guided meditation first.
Yeah, one of the things that Lynetta and I have really gotten clear on in the last week, we started this series of calls with the intention of having more monetary abundance in our lives. And we kind of had money to be this separate entity, and we were a little big on it because for both of us, this has kind of been one of our lifelong issues, and that's why we actually decided to offer these calls to clear that. And what we've actually come to see, even in the past week, was that money is just an exchange of love. It's not this separate thing. There's the category of love, and there's the category of work and money and all that. But money is actually an exchange of love between two parties. In other words, in love, I may offer something to somebody, and in love, they want to do something for me. I mean, that's the true love exchange that the world really works on. And what we do is we use money kind of as a placeholder. It's just standing in, like ideally, some people have the world should be this way, that we would have a, quote, barter economy, where I would do something for you and you would do something equivalent for me. But because life doesn't work so well in the United States that way right now, what we often do is we use money as like a little placeholder. Like I do something for you now, and you give me money as a placeholder, and then I'll use that money later and give it to somebody, and then they'll do something for me later. So money itself is not really its own thing. It's almost just a symbol for an exchange of love between people. So what we've really gotten is when we increase the love that we feel, then that actually is completely connected with money. So what we're going to do right now is actually a little meditation. So I'd like you to get comfortable with it wherever you are, unless, of course, you're driving. Don't get too comfortable. And I'm just going to guide you through a few minutes of really just kind of amping up that feeling of love. And one of the ways I do that is I will connect with either a situation or a person where I've really felt love, and it could be either a current relationship or situation, or it could be something in the past. So something current could be, for some people, pets, for example, are just something they instantly like think of, like petting their dog or cat or playing with puppies or bunnies, and just instantly it fills their heart with love. So if animals work for you, for some people it might be plants. I actually love plants, for example. And of course there's people, which are one of the best ones. And it could be either a relationship right now, or if you're not currently in a relationship where you're really feeling that love, then go back somewhere in the past. And it doesn't matter how long ago it was. And it doesn't even matter if that relationship is not existing right now. But find a relationship that you just felt this unconditional love. You just got that this person or this animal or this situation, you just felt completely loved and accepted. And you got that even if you messed up, it just didn't matter. That person would just look at you and say, God, you are so awesome. I so love who you are. I love who you're trying to be in the world, what's important to you, what you do, what you feel, what you love. I love how you care about people, how you care about the environment, you care about work, you care about your family, you care about love. And just feel that appreciation they have for you. And just really just breathe it in. You can just do no wrong. You just feel totally accepted. And just breathe it in. And just feel it circulate totally in your body. Like feel that love and that peace and that acceptance. And feel it in your chest, how it just kind of fills your chest with this warmth. And feel it into your arms. And if you're petting an animal or embracing somebody you love, a child, a parent, a loved one, just feel that love just right in your arms and into your hands and embracing whoever you're embracing. And feel it down in your belly. Just fill your belly and feel that ease. You're just perfect, just as you are, and you're totally accepted for all of you, and totally loved. And breathe that love down into your legs, all the way down to your toes. And feel comfortable just sitting or lying wherever you are. And breathe that love right up into your head. And feel, maybe you feel somebody caressing your face, stroking your forehead maybe, cupping your cheeks, brushing the back of your head. Just feel how you're just so totally loved. You might feel your puppy just licking your face and just that delight. And feel your brain just relaxing like, oh, it's so good to just be so loved, and I don't have to do anything. I'm just totally accepted and loved just as I am. Just take a couple more breaths. Just fill yourself with that love. And as you feel that love that just so totally fills you, recognize that you also are that same vehicle of love. You have this huge love in you, this huge heart, and this wonderful body, and you so want to share that love with the world. One of the most important things is for you to be in the world, sharing the beauty of who you are. You have so many things you came in this world to be and to do. So many people that you have helped already. So many people you've embraced, people you've lifted up, people you've calmed when they're upset, people you've touched with your heart, whether you gave them a hug, had a kind word, even looked at them with a kind face. All the things that you've done that have so helped so many people in the world and animals and the environment. Just recognize what an amazing human being you are and what gifts you bring to this world. And really appreciate yourself for those gifts. And feel that desire you have to really share those gifts with the world. And feel it from the base of your belly and into your chest, and feel it like welling up into your head. And you're wanting to speak that love. And you want to breathe it into the world. And you want to use your arms in acts of love in the world, whether it's through your work or your family or in the environment, wherever it is. And just feel how much love you want to give to the world and how important that is. And breathe in the love that you are and breathe out the love that you are. A couple more breaths. And you can just put your hands on your heart and just feel that love that you are and acknowledge it. Okay.
All right. So are we doing clearing?
Okay. Anything anybody would like to share from that meditation? Anything they felt? Anything they felt inspired about? Hopefully it wasn't so relaxing you're all still awake. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is, in order to have whatever you want in the world, whether it's love, money, health, peace, whatever it is, two things have to happen. You have to be clear of any limiting beliefs that have it that you can't have whatever it is you're desiring. And secondly, you need to energize, you need to create that state of having it. So what we're going to do now are two parts. We're going to work on clearings first, and we'll take a couple mini coaching sessions on clearings if you'd like. And then Lynetta is going to do some creating of that energetic state to create what you want. So who has any limiting beliefs? And it doesn't have to be just money. Anything that's come up in the past week where you just felt, you just had an acknowledgement of something in your way of really having the life you'd love to have.
Well, I had a very trying weekend, and it kind of brought up all the limiting beliefs that have been haunting me for a while.
Okay.
And who's speaking?
Is this Franco?
Oh, yeah, yes, this is Franco.
Okay, Franco wants you to also be aware we are recording, and if there's anything of a private nature that you don't want recorded, then we can do it off of the conference call. But otherwise, if you don't mind being recorded, then you can share that.
Okay. No, I really don't mind, and I got to pick something up that I knocked out.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so tell us about your trying week, Franco.
It's been, yeah, I'm a contractor, and I was given the news on Friday that my contract would not be renewed. I've only been at my contract for 6 months, and I was told that the job could last a good year and a half. But due to some circumstances where I just didn't gel with the team, they're just letting me go. And I just got this news Friday, and it basically, I wasn't prepared for it.
Okay.
So it brought up every insecurity of being stable, of bringing myself up from, because I experienced a huge financial loss, homelessness, almost the full gamut of that basically has brought my self-esteem down to close to nil. I've almost given up on having a family of my own, finding the love of my life, of having my own house, all the dreams that, the American dream basically. And settled for just surviving until I die.
Okay. Now, that's what happened on Friday when you got the news, or that's from the past?
That's basically what ran through that's what Friday brought on this whole weekend. That's what I was obsessing over, that here's another defeat. Here's another proof that you can't have anything you need or want. And, my mind is my greatest enemy, basically.
Oh, so true. Okay. I'm just writing a couple notes here so I can make sure we address all the issues. Okay. So homelessness, can't have what you want, another defeat, and will never have your own family?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, I'll never have my dreams fulfilled, if you want to just put it general.
I'm sorry, say that once more?
If you want to put it in more general terms, I guess I'll never have the dreams my dreams fulfilled. They'll always stay fantasies.
Okay, never have my dreams fulfilled. Okay. Where I'm getting to go with this, now this may sound a little challenging to accept, but let's just play with this and see where we get.
Okay.
We as human beings, I'm speaking to everybody now, me included, one of the things we do as human beings is we say out loud what we want. But what we're not aware of most of the time is the voices that are screaming in the background, which sometimes we'll hear, and most of the time we don't hear, because that's kind of the things that something happened in the past, and it's no longer a conscious belief about how the world works. It's now subconscious. So we don't have access to it, but it's screaming in the background. And unfortunately, the subconscious is mostly creating our reality, not our conscious. So even though we might be saying like you are, I want my dreams, I want my family, I want my abundance, I want my home, there might be a part of us saying, nope, never going to happen, not you, you're not good enough, the world's too tough, everything's stacked against you, whatever it is, all those voices that get in the way of it happening. Now, one of the ways to get out of that trap is actually to accept that on a certain level, we may be desiring exactly what we are having. We actually may be attracting it. And I'm going to give you an example of a story that happened that illustrates this. There was a healing group that met once a week. I think this was in Arizona. And there were various members, different occupations in this group. And one of the people in that group was a taxi driver. And this taxi driver would come every week, and they would do visioning and support each other. And he really wasn't happy being a taxi driver, and he'd shared that a little bit. But one week he doesn't show up, and somebody in the group said his cab had been stolen. And everybody in the group felt terrible because he was kind of struggling in life. And they decided that they were going to put out an energy from the whole group for him to get his cab back, that it should be returned to him so he could keep working as a cab driver, as a taxi driver. So they all meditated on it and put a lot of energy into it. And the next week, he shows back up at the group, and he looks more depressed than they've ever seen him. And they all assume, that he hasn't found his taxi yet, and that's why he looks so bad. So they start to console him about it, and he says, no, you guys don't understand. They found my cab, everything was intact, it wasn't damaged, and they gave it back to me. The police brought it back to me. And everybody's kind of shocked, so how come you're so depressed? And then he really laid it open. He said, I hated that job. And when that taxi was gone, I was so thrilled because that was my opening to a new life. And, when they brought it back to me, I was like, oh, my God, I have to go back to driving a taxi now. So, and one of my healing teachers, when I lived in New York, when somebody actually lost their job, she would actually say, congratulations. All possibilities of the world are open to you now. Now, I also, and I'm speaking to you particularly, Franco, know that panic feeling of not being able to take care of yourself. When I was going through my bankruptcy and my house was in foreclosure, and I was going through divorce, and I had no money. I had to borrow money from my mom. I'm in my 50s, borrowing money from my mom. How embarrassing is that? In order to go through a divorce, and and possibly any day my house might be taken away from me, and I'd literally be living out on the street. And I had a son who I was co-parenting who was 11 years old at the time, and I'm a dad, and what am I going to do with my son when he's with me? And I totally acknowledge how rough that is when you're in that situation. But is there any, I'll just say silver lining, anything that you could say that you've learned from this? Anything that you can take from it that's not a negative after acknowledging all that?
I think at this time I can't come up with anything. I'm still stuck on the...
Okay, so I'll just ask some questions, and I'll ask Lynetta to chime in if she has anything also. How much did you enjoy the job?
I didn't really enjoy it.
Okay, got it. All right.
It was just because I was running out of unemployment, and it just came when my last month was coming of unemployment.
I got it. So it was sort of a job taken out of desperation, and it wasn't something that you were really aligned with, but you did it because you had to.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now I'm going to share from my own experience. Until Lynette and I started doing the coaching together, I worked as a computer consultant. I actually had my own business for 30 years. And things would constantly go up and down. And what my wife at the time would point out to me is that I was actually causing it to go down. I would create an energy of not liking my job so much. And then lo and behold, clients would stop coming to me, and we'd run out of money. And I was like, oh, my God, I got to get back into action. And then I'd start working like crazy and putting energy out for new clients, and they'd come. And I kept doing this cycle of having and not having until it wasn't the world creating that, but I was creating it because on a certain level, I didn't want to be doing that. Even though I was really good at computers, I even still do a little work for some of my former clients in Florida. But it wasn't totally aligned with me, and I really got like I wanted to help people. So when things started to cycle down, I actually got, you know what, this is really an opportunity for me to really look and say, what do I really want to do with my life? And I really started looking that way. Now, I still did, and even do right now, do a little bit of computer work because we're not totally manifesting everything we want in our coaching business yet. You know, we're laying everything out for everybody here. It's not like we've got the millions coming in yet. But an opportunity is always present. Like, what would you ideally like? Like, dream for a moment. What would an ideal work situation be for you?
Well, I don't have anything specific, any career specific, but I've always wanted to help people in terms of helping them heal. A friend of mine says I have a gift, even though I've never noticed it. I still kind of don't know what she's talking about. But she says that I have a gift to heal people, maybe just talking to them or actually healing them with energy. And I've messed around with it a little bit. I don't even want to use that term, messed around with. I was trained as a healer a while ago, but it was limited. It was limited. I'm not allowed to, at this point, I'm not really allowed to take advantage of it because I've only gone up to a certain level. And plus the school where I came from, it's a Buddhist school where you don't charge for it. You heal, out of compassion. But I have only gone up to a certain point with it. But getting back on track, that's what I always wanted to do, find something where I'm helping people. And with IT, I kind of do that because I help people solve their problems, so that part of it feeds me. But this job, I wasn't really helping anyone. I was actually clashing with a coworker who was supposed to train me to do my job and never wanted to.
Well, so it's very similar to me because I kind of dabbled in healing also for years.
Yeah.
And, you know, mostly did IT work as well. Though, interestingly enough, in the last few years when I was in Florida, before I moved to California, I actually started doing healing work with some of my computer clients. I would go in and fix the computers, and I'd ask, how you doing? And sometimes somebody would have a problem. It could be something emotional going on. It could be a problem in the body, and then I'd offer a little bit of healing. And that's when I kind of got that I really did have some gifts about it. And one of the most important ways to get that is when somebody says to you, you have a gift, that's something to notice. You know, if you think about it, most people aren't so forthcoming with praise. You know, we're trained, unfortunately, in the United States to find all the things wrong, you know, and it's not so often somebody praises you. So somebody saying you've got a gift, I would really look at that. And you might see this as an opportunity right now to look at it a little bit more. And what I'm hearing from you is there's a belief that's saying, well, I might like to do this, but I'm not fully trained, and I don't know how, and I'm not supposed to charge for it. Are all those limiting beliefs pretty accurate?
Yes, and in addition, I still have to support myself.
And I still have to support myself. Exactly. Okay. So with all that, basically you end up in a place of, I'm screwed. I can't really do what I might love to do. Do you know for sure you'd love it, or it's a possibility you might really love it?
I don't know for sure because I don't know. I haven't done enough of it. I just know that the only thing that feeds me is helping people, period.
The only thing that feeds you, right?
Yes.
Yep, got it. Okay. So how about the following? Now, it would take more time we'll probably have on this call to actually tackle each of the limiting beliefs. But I want to suggest the following because I think this will shift your state right now. if you were to allow, right now what I'm hearing is you don't even give yourself permission to explore it because you've got to do something to support yourself. Is that accurate? Like you've got to have money flowing in to support yourself.
Sorry, I accidentally put you on mute. Yes, no, that is extremely accurate.
Right. In other words, I just have to survive. I'm going to be out in the street again, so I've got to do what I have to survive. There's no time for anything else, right?
Essentially, yes.
Okay, good. So you'd acknowledge there's no life in that, right? You don't feel alive at all. Like at best, you're just surviving. And lo and behold, the job didn't work out. And when we're in survival mode, we tend not to do a great job. And I'm not saying the job was aligned with you anyways, but it all kind of fits together. We kind of attract something that doesn't really work out because we're just not alive in it. So if you're alive, you're more likely to find the things that really do work for you. So I'm going to suggest the following. Can you give yourself permission to explore more while also supporting yourself from IT?
I've actually started doing that because it didn't pop into my head because I don't even think about it. But there's a group of people at the local Pete's Coffee that have really taken to me, and they found out that I used to be a martial arts instructor. And the majority of them, because they're women or they're just where they work, they work in the Embarcadero BART station. There's a lot of challenging patrons that pass by. So there is sometimes a possibility of violence. They want me to teach them, and they would like to, they would like to pay me for it, and I made it a donation basis because I know that they earn less than I do. I told them, look, pay what you can. We'll start class when you guys are ready. But I am willing to teach you on a donation basis, but I'm not willing to teach you for free because I've done that before. And people show up for a while, then they stop.
Yep. Got it. All right, so you're already working on it then.
Yeah, and I wasn't even thinking about it.
Good. Okay. So can you just appreciate the fact that you really want to help people on the energetic/healing level in some form, and just allow yourself to really enjoy that and enjoy that that's who you may be at your core, and allow yourself just to explore that. Can you give yourself that full permission?
Yes.
Just breathe that in. Because what that will do is it will give you a background to your doing the IT work. In other words, one of the things we can do is we can do anything for some specified time period if we know that there's something better on the horizon. There were times that I would do the computer work when I got that I really wanted to be doing more coaching, but I was doing training at the same time. So I was willing to do the computer work and feel good about it because I really was doing a service and I liked the problem solving just like you mentioned.
And I want to add something to this. So, Franco, when I talked about us staying in a really high state, when you stay in a high state of feeling really good about yourself and about your life, you are really creating a magnet for other amazing things to come to you, and opportunities, people, and places, and the right timing, and all of that is like synchronized in your favor when you're keeping yourself in a state of feeling good. And so there is also a possibility that within IT that you attract a position where you actually feel like you're contributing to a greater cause. And that where the people or company that you're working for are like, oh my God, Franco, you are exactly the person that we needed for this position. We are willing to pay you the big bucks. I mean, it could be a really great paying position for a company that's more heartfelt, maybe more heart-based, and where you actually enjoyed going to work, even though it's in a position where you wouldn't think you'd be able to really be putting your heart into it and loving it and really helping people. You could totally create that and manifest that by being in a state of feeling good, which I would say get out into nature. If you now you may have time to where you can build up a really good feeling in your body. Go to places in nature that fill your heart, that make you feel good. Go do the things that make you feel joyous and happy. Even though you may not feel that right now, if you start making steps toward feeling good, you're going to become more of a magnet for all the good that's waiting to come to you. That could also be a loving partner. And who knows, your loving partner might be a billionaire and she'll want to invest in you. Who knows? It could be as wild as you want if you only had the possibility of getting yourself into a state where you felt extraordinary and magnificent.
And
is that a possibility?
Yeah, I think it is a possibility. There is one small challenge to it, and I don't share this a lot, but I still am working on reaching higher states of focusing on feeling happiness, but the challenge is I also suffer from major depression. I stopped taking drugs for it, thank God. But there are times where it's hard to get up in the morning, and there are times where I'm okay. And I think anything can trigger it, and this triggered it. So suffice it to say that it's an ongoing battle with my mind, and I don't mean to use it as an excuse. It's just I've been fighting it for 20 years, and it is something that I have to live with every day of my life. And there are some days where I conquer it, and there are other days where it conquers me.
Okay, I have had this challenge, so I'd like to chime in. I've had great depression. I was suicidal for many years, and I attempted it several times, and I was extremely depressed. I had no idea how much of that had to do with my nutrition, but I started doing green drinks, green smoothies, and really accelerating the nutrients in my body, and that shifted my moods dramatically. Then I also found some form of exercise that would bring me peace, and I found that in yoga, and I also find that in Qigong. That's very helpful. It helps you to get into peaceful states. Now, another thing that's a very useful tool is to keep yourself in the present moment. And if you're in the present moment, there's really no way of being, the thoughts can't really get to you because you're staying really present. And I find that tools to help you stay present are like mindfulness practices. There are mindfulness practice apps that you can even put on your phone that will take you through guided meditations that will keep you in the present moment and will make you really be present with just what's going on right now in this moment. The depression comes from either thinking of things in the past or in the future that are totally out of your control in the present moment. In the present moment is the only place where you can have any say in. Would you agree to that?
Yes.
Okay. So would you be willing to try some of those things? I would recommend you search for the thing that works for you. I'm just throwing out some of the tools that worked for me. But I would really suggest you get online, find some tools that will work for you, or maybe some of the ones I suggested. Would you be willing to take one of those on?
I've actually already started looking for meetups in yoga and Qigong.
Okay.
Which is really weird that you mentioned that.
Yeah. Yes. And also, I really would recommend some of the mindfulness meditations.
I'm actually going to start looking for that right after I did not know there were apps for that, but I should have known better. I guess it seems to be apps for everything nowadays.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, and also Lynette and I are creating some meditations that we're going to make available online. Probably.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we're in the middle of recording those. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can I say something? This is Rachel.
Yes. Jump in, Ray.
Hey.
I just really want to acknowledge you for sharing that. I'm so grateful. I've also been, had my bouts with depression for the greater parts of my life. And in my 20s, I was diagnosed with bipolar with rapid cyclic depression, which means that I could be up high and then literally wanting to kill myself within an hour. And I have attempted to take my own life 3 times in my life. And so I just wanted to share that because I just think that was really courageous that you stepped up and shared that. It was amazing because it took me so many years to share it. And so it can be healed. And this high energy vibration, like what Lynetta is talking about, is absolutely really crucial. And for that reason, it's almost become like depression in a weird way has become my power because it's become like you've been more the reason to stay in that high vibration. Does that make sense?
I think in a weird way it does, and I thank you for bringing that up because I was actually, before I said it, I was wondering if I should have shared that because I was extremely, it's still a stigma to it, and the only thing that made me say something about it was because, Robin Williams was a hero of mine, and if me saying that I suffer from major depression would have helped someone on this call, then who am I not to say anything about it? But I was scared to death of mentioning it, but I wanted to help someone out there anyway.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. We are so committed to open sharing. I mean, you're going to hear stuff from us that, at times you're going to gasp like, oh, my God, I can't believe they shared that. I guarantee you're going to hear stuff like that. Sometimes when we share it among ourselves, we're like, oh, my God, I can't believe I'm admitting that. That's the way our relationship has been. So, Franco, that is so appropriate, and I so acknowledge you. And also thank you, Rachel, for stepping in with your acknowledgement and sharing as well. That is exactly what we want on these calls, so we all support each other.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel. I really appreciate you backing me up. I appreciate you being there.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Great. So I'm going to Franco, are we complete right now with this area? I would like to move on.
Yes, no. Thank you for letting me speak. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. What we'll do is let's see how things go the next week. Take some of those steps, and next week check in with us and let us know how you're doing. And if you're still feeling challenged with the limiting beliefs that you brought up that we didn't actually work on clearing yet, then we'll actually start attacking them one by one. Will that work for you?
No, that's exactly right. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll hear next week about that. All right, so Lynetta, what's next for us?
Okay, I wanted to share an experience I had with, I'm going to call him Ken, at the Matrix, and I helped him through a challenge for asking for payment for what he did. What he did was last night he worked on Mark with some of the aches and pains he had on his body, and this guy is an energy worker and a body worker, and he's very gifted and talented. And he literally had Mark's whole body was pain-free, and he had problems with these areas in his body for a couple months. and it was really valuable to him. Now, Ken did not ask Mark for any payment for that at all. He didn't mention anything like that. Then he worked on me. Then because I heard what he had done for Mark, I have had a shoulder that's caused me pain for about a month. And I have done so much work on it. I'm a body worker as well, an energy worker, and I know how to clear stuff out of the body, but this thing was just really persisting and not going away. So I thought, well, I'm going to ask him to help me. And he jumped right in and started going to work on me and helping me. And no kidding, within 10 minutes, my pain was gone. And I was so grateful. And after he said, I'm going to send you a link to PayPal. If you'd like to contribute or donate, you can do that. And so I thought about that, and I wanted to give him some money right then and there, and I was creating this letter of acknowledging him for what he had done for me. And I walked over to him and I'm like, I noticed that you had a bit of a chat, you said you were going to send me a link to PayPal, but you didn't just out and out ask me for payment. And I wondered, do you have an issue with money that you might like to clear? And he said, yeah, but we only have a few minutes. I said, no problem. We could do this in about 5 minutes. So I told him that he told me what his issue is that, he'll send a link and then people don't follow through. And then he says, well, at least give me a testimonial. And oftentimes they won't even give him a testimonial even. I said, well, okay, there's some kind of belief or story behind it. But we didn't have time to deal with the story part of it. That can kind of get lengthy. So I said, let's just take all your beliefs and all your stories about money and let's just place them in the trash right now. There was a trash right next to us. So we're going to just set those aside and let's just get to the core of what is, let's work it energetically so we can get to the core of what the money issue is. And I said, well, you're helping me now because I also have had issues with asking for money for my services. Even in massage, I was taking Groupon and Amazon deals and getting paid only $23 or $25 an hour for doing deep work on people, and it was wearing my body out and seeing 20 clients a week. So I realized that I have quite an issue even asking clients to pay me, knowing that my work is really awesome. I mean, I've really helped people to become pain-free, so I totally understood where this guy was at. So I said, well, let's just have you make a clean, clear request for money from me. And he said, well, so he starts to make a request. He says, well, could you pay? And it was real weak, and I felt energetically like he wasn't able to ask powerfully for the money. So I said, well, okay, I have some granola here. Why don't you just ask me for some granola? I mean, make a really clear request like you would ask to have some of my granola. So he said, well, okay, can I have some of your granola? I said, yeah. And then I went, wait, no, I don't want to give you that. How do you feel? And he's like, well, it's okay. He wasn't really attached to me saying yes or no, and he could let it go. But when it comes to money, there's a bit of a charge. But I said, look, make the request for money like you were asking for granola from someone. Just make it really clear and clean. No stories, no beliefs getting in your way about money. And so when he started to say, let me ask for money, it was it was a clear request, and he had power behind it. And I went to my wallet immediately, and I gave him what cash I had, and I gave him a testimonial. So I gave him both, and I handed it to him, and I thanked him for walking through the challenge that he has with money, because it also helped me to break free of my challenge of asking for money, to get that it's a really clean, clear request, and if I can just set aside all of my money beliefs and ask like I was asking for a handful of granola, then it'll be easy for me to ask and also receive, and really get that people want to pay me. I really got that awareness when I did that exercise with them. So I just shared something that I feel vulnerable about sharing with you because I don't often share with people that I have a struggle around asking for money, especially being the leader of a Magnetizing Money call, you know. And I want to coach people through this, but I'm doing these calls because I do want to take on the challenge for myself of creating and magnetizing money, and I know one of the best ways to do that is to help others to learn to create it for themselves.
Yeah, and actually I want to add to that. One of the things you brought up, Franco, was from that school that you had done some studying, that there was this thing about you're supposed to just offer your service freely and not receive for it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And among spiritual people and healers, that's a very common belief. Some people say, well, if you have a gift, so to speak, from God, or however you would say it, then how can you charge for it? And that's one that I've also struggled with. And there's another part for it also for me, one of my beliefs, and this is one I'm actually working on now also. Like we haven't cleared all this stuff yet. We're working. But one for me that's kind of similar is I kind of divide people into two categories. People who I really love, which could be family members or friends, who of course I'll do anything for free, and then people who I don't love so much, who I might call clients, and those I'm free to charge for. And there's this like dichotomy. It's almost like I divided the whole world, and it's like wrong for me to charge some people for certain things because they're in a certain category, whereas other people maybe I could charge. And that's something that I haven't worked out either. So we're kind of working through our paradigms about money and spirituality as well. Just know you're in good company, Franco.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so now I'm going to jump into the creating and magnetizing money through a visualization process. There are no rules about how often that you use this magnetizing visualization. You can use it whenever you feel drawn to do it. Once you've done this work, take some action and then be patient. And then sometimes no action is required to really magnetize money. Sometimes it just comes to you. You may, like Rachel, discover a pile of money you didn't even know you had. So here are some of the steps, and we're going to get into a relaxed position. I want you to take a couple deep breaths, and I want you to think of something you'd like to magnetize into your life for this coming week. Get really specific about it and about the details. And as you relax your body, really get clear on what it looks like, what it would feel like, and all the features and functions of the essence of what you want. When I say the essence, get to the essence of it, like what is it that you really want to feel? Once you attracted this into your life, what is it going to bring you? Maybe it's going to bring you freedom, relief, peace, happiness, joy, whatever it is that you believe having this will bring you. So visualize or sense what you want and make the picture as real as possible. Create a scene in which you imagine yourself you're receiving it and living out the good feelings you're going to have as you get it. Enhance this visualization. If you can't visualize it, then imagine it as vividly as possible, the feeling that having it will bring you. Or you can pick a symbol that will represent the item or thing and work with the symbol. Use the same picture or symbol every time you magnetize or think about the thing you've chosen. Imagine that you have a power source within you that generates energy. Picture a coil, like a loop, that goes around and round and around. This coil begins in the area near your solar plexus, which is midsection around your belly button, inside your body, and expands outward and upward. Begin to circulate power and energy through this coil by drawing in power from your source. You can think of this power as coming in from your higher self or your soul or from a higher power, whatever you choose to call it. Use it as the source of power, and whatever feels right to you is perfect. You might imagine spinning your magnetic coil in whatever direction feels most comfortable. It's fine if you have no picture of a coil. Just a feeling of becoming magnetic is really all that's needed. As you think of what you want to magnetize, make your coil whatever size you think you'll need to draw what you want to you. Does it need to be the size of your whole body, or smaller, or larger? Whatever you feel drawn to. How much power do you need to send through the coil to draw what you want to you? Use your imagination to play with the size, the shape, and intensity of the coil until it feels just right. As you're doing this, you're beginning to generate a magnetic force field around you, magnetizing what you want to you, becoming magnetic, much as a magnet draws iron to it. As you draw what you want to you, evaluate where to bring it into your energy. This could be as specific as exactly where you want it to enter into your body. You might imagine a cord going out from your heart, your throat, or your mind, linking with what you want and drawing it to you. You might want to imagine it coming into your hands, or you might feel more comfortable to disperse the energy of what you want all around you. For instance, a large sum of money may affect many areas of your life. Thus, when you draw it to you, you might want to imagine it all around you rather than in a specific place. As the magnetic energy in your coil builds, imagine what events need to occur before you have this thing that you want. There are a certain number of steps you'll take and events that will occur to get what you want. You can control the rate at which those events and steps occur, be it 1, 2, or 50 a day. Begin to work with the time element in manifesting by getting a feeling or picture of how many steps and events are involved. Try speeding it up or slowing it down. The rate at which you take these steps and have these events occur until the rate feels just right for you. If you're attracting this thing or sum of money too quickly, you'll feel a sense of tension or pressure. There's a rate of change that is just right for you. Observe your posture and your breathing, and notice that you can increase your feeling of being magnetic by slightly altering each. Continue generating your magnetic coil until you reach a point that feels like a completion of energy. You may feel a click or a stop, or the energy may start fading. You may have a feeling of certainty that you'll get what you're magnetizing. Stop magnetizing when you feel this certainty. You will notice that the energy builds, crusts, and then begins to fall away. Build your magnetic coil and magnetize as long as it feels good. If it becomes a struggle or a strain, or it feels like there's a barrier, stop. You've done enough. Discover what's the right amount of energy to put out to draw what you want to you. Now go within and ask your higher power, your higher self, or your higher power, how often to magnetize what you've asked for. Come gently out of this state and stretch your body. And over the next several days, notice if you have any insights about this object and how you might get it. So you want to keep doing this exercise until you're able to feel, visualize, sense, imagine, or experience the coil and the energy you're sending out. If you're able to feel the energy build and then retreat, or if you're able to feel click or a sense of completion, or you have a feeling but the building energy has receded, you've begun the process of drawing in what you want. When you feel comfortable with magnetizing a small object, use this exercise for magnetizing something that's greater challenge for you. You may notice that every time you magnetize something, your coil changes. Sometimes your coil and the amount of energy you circulate through is small, and sometimes you need a larger coil and more energy. Sometimes you'll want to magnetize for at least a minute or longer, and sometimes a few seconds will be plenty. Remember to hold the positive thoughts about what you request and to have a certain detachment about receiving it. Let it be all right if it comes in a different form than what you expected, and surrender to have whatever comes as being appropriate for you to have. So I'd also invite you to go onto the Facebook group page that we've created for this group, Magnetizing Money, and to put in there what it is that you're wanting to create for this week and allow us to support you. There's great power and energy in groups that can help you to increase the power and energy of attraction.
Yeah, in particular what we'd like is if you have some intention, something you'd like to create for the week, one of the most important things can be to say it out loud or to write it down. And we will help, particularly if there's an issue of, well, if I say it and then I don't do it, I'm going to feel even worse. We definitely know how to deal with all that. So get it out there, and we will all support you to have it and deal with any limiting beliefs and emotions that come up with it.
We also want to invite you to get private coaching with Mark and I if that feels like something that will really help you to amplify your energy. And if you're wanting to produce something quickly, I would really encourage you to invite you to get some private one-on-one coaching with Mark and I. And also, I'd like to also put a request out that if you get an unexpected income during the week, they consider that however you got support for that, whether it's you have a supportive group or some kind of charity that you want to give to, or if you want to contribute towards this group, that you give 10% of whatever that unexpected income was. That has been shown to really even magnify more to you when you're being in a giving spirit of whatever you've received, you're also giving out.
Yeah, the way that works is when we're in a place of feeling lack, like we don't have enough money coming in, and of course logically you'd say the last thing I want to do is give money to somebody if it's something I don't have to do. But the ironic thing is the way the universe actually works is if you actually do give something that you don't have to give to somebody, including money, and it doesn't have to be a huge amount, you're saying, I am a person of abundance, and that actually attracts more abundance to you. So even though it's kind of counterintuitive, and I know lots of stories of this, people who, when they were struggling, actually would give even small sums of money away to whoever it was that they thought to share with, that would actually attract money to them, even though it's totally counterintuitive.
In fact, Rachel, could you share a story about when you were giving to, if you wanted to attract money to you, I remember you saying you were giving to various charities or something like that? Rachel?
Yeah, just to, be in the space, that even though I did it even with just small amounts of cash, but more than that, I looked at anything that I was donating that was really good, and I looked to charities that I really like women's shelters and foster children, and I would donate like the really nice things that I loved but I no longer needed specifically to them, and it felt amazing. And also it felt like I'm not in lack, like I'm giving here. So obviously, it was a great feeling. It was very empowering.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that, Rach.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to help anybody who would like, we have a few more minutes, so I would like to give somebody a laser coaching session on really creating a powerful visualization for yourself. Anybody want to jump in and volunteer? And remember, this coaching is like me and Mark, we charge $200 an hour for our coaching. So this is the time you're going to jump in and get coaching without, that large expense. So call.
What if you have trouble with visualizing?
Well,
because I brought that up last time. Visualizing for me is very challenging.
Okay. So your bedroom you're real familiar with your bedroom, right?
Yes.
Okay, so close your eyes right now, and I want you to imagine that there's, imagine you're standing in the middle of your bedroom, and you're looking around you. Can you tell me what you're seeing around you?
Yes.
Okay.
For the most part.
Okay, and are you seeing it? Are you seeing the different items like your furniture, your bed? Can you see your pictures?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I want you to clear out all the furniture in your, now imagine that all of the furniture is being cleared out of your room, and you're just in the middle of your room and there's nothing there. So now I'd like you to imagine the bed coming in and see where the bed is where it's placed, where it is now, and recreate it. So this is used as strengthening your imagination. So you're going to imagine your bed is where you're putting it back in place. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay. And can you place a dresser? If you have a dresser, can you place your dresser back in there?
Yes.
Okay, you're using your imagination. Okay, and you can do that. You can just practice with doing that with your bedroom, and do that over and over, and then you'll get the confidence that you need. Because we all have our imagination, but we may not be practicing or using it much. And if you keep building it by practicing in that way, then you'll be able to strengthen your imagination. And if you can strengthen your imagination, then visualizing what you want to magnetize to you will come much easier.
Okay.
And then after you've done that a few times with your bedroom, then take something small, small object, and put it in your hand. And close your eyes and feel the texture and the shape and the weight and what temperature is it, and then place it, put it down after you've really felt it, and then close your eyes and feel in your hand, recreate that object in your hand again. So can you, I would love for you to be writing this down if you have a pen and pad, Franco, because this is a really powerful exercise you can use to build your imagination.
Okay.
It's like working a muscle. You first go to the gym and you find the exercises are hard and you're like, oh, I can't do this. But after you're practicing it for a while, you're going to find you're really going to get good at doing it. And then it's so fun because you get creative ideas start flowing in, and what it'll do when you start building your imagination, it builds your creativity, and creativity is really the power of the universe. The power of the universe is creativity. When we we see artists creating a work of art or music, or they're tapping into this huge creative ability of their imagination, and everyone has access to that, and you don't have to be an artist per se to tap into your creativity. But when you're tapping into that, literally all these possibilities will start coming at you out of the nowhere, because you're also tapping into your subconscious. which is a huge wealth of information in the subconscious. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay.
And one other thing that's occurring to me, Franco, when you say you have trouble visualizing, do you mean actually getting a picture in your mind?
Yes, especially if it is of something that I feel that I can't have.
Gotcha. Okay, so there's a belief there. So it's not like you can't see it, but you can't see it because you got a voice saying you're not going to have it, is what's really going on.
Yes, and then it just won't come into the screen that is in my mind.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm going to suggest,
got it. Okay. So I'm going to suggest one thing, and actually next week I'll share a story about how I manifested $25,000 in 4 days, and I used exactly this technique, because we don't have time now because we're about to end.
Yeah, I would love to hear that.
I guess you'll be on next week's call, won't you?
Yes, I will.
All right. So here's the technique. What you do is you say, I'm having, now I tend to use the word desire or have, or you can use want if you want. Whatever word works for you that feels powerful. So it's like, I'm having, let's say a new job, for example, that I love to do. That's step one. Number two is, and I don't know how, or I don't know from where, or whatever it is, whatever the voice says, or I don't deserve it, or I can't have it. You just say whatever the voice is, and then you go back and you say, and I'm going to have it.
And you keep saying that.
So what you do is you say, I'm having a new job I love next week, and I don't know where it's coming from, and I'm going to have it. I'm having a new job offer next week, and even if I don't deserve it, I'm going to have it. You know, whatever those voices are, you sandwich it.
I see.
You state what you want. You let that voice come up. You don't try to repress it, because that never works. You say the voice, and you say, and I'm going to have it, just because I want it. Sometimes you can add that. Just because I want it, I'm going to have it.
Okay.
Whatever that voice says. So try that out every time that those voices come out. Just sandwich it.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to add something to that. Start with something small. Start with something really small, like I'm going to go get a drink of water. And then walk towards the water, get the cup, and as you're, allow yourself to really feel what it's like to accept that you actually, even though it's something small and your mind's going to say, oh, this is no big deal, anybody can get water. But what you're doing is you're really training your subconscious mind that you are a creator and a manifester of anything you want. And when you say, I'm going to go get the water, and then you receive the water and feel it in your hand, and you acknowledge, wow, I got this water. I got it myself. Start with small things. Maybe it's, you go to the store and you get what's on your shopping list. Even that is something you created. You created the shopping list. You're going to go to the store. You're going to get those things that you wanted, and acknowledge it, that you created that, you got it, and you manifested it.
Yeah, what Lynetta's hinting at is we don't get our power as human beings. We are so powerful, and on a certain level, we're all playing this game that we're not, and there's really something to getting our power. So you might try starting, at the small things like that. But go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. That was not me.
Yeah. Okay. But also, when there's the big things that you really do want, sandwich it as well. So practice it on both levels. Will that work for you?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so we're at 7:30 now, so we're going to end the call at this point. So we may also be changing the Facebook group. We may change the type of group and reformat it. So what we'll do is we'll send out an email, And we're gonna be posting the recordings so you can listen to them, and some meditations as well. And if anything comes up during the coming week, you can either email us, Mark or Lynetta, at liveablaze, liveablaze.com. And if you want to, email or post on the Facebook page whatever your challenges are, what your goals are, what your successes, what your gratitudes. And really, we want to all support each other, kind of like you, Franco, and you, Rachel, did. Like, that's exactly the kind of support we want to provide for each other.
And it's possible we don't have your email, because if you got on Meetup or something like that, we may not have your email. So if you're not getting emails from us, why don't you text me at, I'm going to give you my phone number. Write this down, Lynetta's cell, 408-202-0058. Text me your email, and I'll make sure you get on our list.
Yeah, because we really want to support everybody on the call. And thank everybody. I also wanted to acknowledge Brandy. Thank you so much for your contributions as well.
Yes.
And
Franco and Rachel, everyone who contributes, you are helping all of us to manifest and magnetize money.
And that honesty we so appreciate from everybody.
Yes.
So thank you all, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great week and manifest amazingly.
Good night,
Thanks, everyone.
Magnetize money and have a blast.
Exactly. All right. Have a good night, all.
Good night.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.